I've been avoiding it long enough. It's time to start talking Ozempic, the magic weight loss pill floating around the internet. Should you take it? What does it do? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Noah, aka The Biggest Fella. And today we're going to talk about GLP-1 semaglutides, or better known as Ozempic or Wegovy. They also go by other names, but the brands, the companies that often sell them, Ozempic and Wegovy, are the two most popular ones. Now, before I dive into my opinion on whether you should be taking them to help your fat loss, first you need to know what they are. Semaglutides are a peptide that was meant for anti-diabetes medication to help people with type 2 diabetes and anyone else who had extreme amounts of weight to lose and was struggling with weight management in general. And over these last several years, it has gotten more and more popular and less of a niche pill. In some pockets of the internet, it did go viral for the crazy side effects. I've actually seen some of these side effects firsthand. I was working with a client a couple of years ago that started bleeding out of his eyes because he was taking it. That was not under my recommendation, by the way. But with that being said, in 2023 and 2024, semaglutide or Ozempic has become mainstream. Celebrities are seen to be taking it, more and more people are talking about it on the internet. It's making headlines on the news. It's much of a more household name now. And it wasn't originally meant for general use of the entire public, or at least that's how I understand it. What Ozempic does is it reduces your appetite. It removes your urge to eat. And now, for those of you that do want to lose weight, this may sound like a dream to you, but let me just be very clear, it's not. Sure, having a smaller appetite can definitely help with fat loss, but I want to throw one quote at you to kind of really make you think about whether or not you should take any sort of Ozempic or semaglutide. How you lose the weight is how you keep it off. So if you lose the weight taking the medication, you are going to have to continue to take the medication to keep the weight off. Meaning, you're gonna have to take those subcutaneous injections, because for a lot of people to take it as a shot, there are other ways to take it, for essentially the rest of your life. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't wanna keep doing that for the entirety of my existence. I'm good. And again, I'm speaking within a general fat loss context. There are people who are diabetic that Ozempic does genuinely help, and I'm not speaking on those situations whatsoever. This is just trying to talk a lot of people that are deliberating on the Ozempic train because they're sick and tired of yo-yo dieting, they're sick and tired of all the time and effort that it takes to lose a lot of weight. And essentially they're looking for a quick fix. And semaglutides and Ozempic are the first thing that we've ever had that's the closest to an actual magic pill. But the problem is, Ozempic is a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Let's create a random person out of thin air named Susie that weighs 300 pounds. Susie goes on Ozempic. She's tried diets in the past. She's frustrated. I just wants to lose a lot of weight very quickly. She goes on Ozempic for a few months and she loses 40 pounds. So now she's down to 260. She's happy. She's so excited about her new weight loss. And then she's like, you know what? I think I continue this on my own. She stops taking the Ozempic. She stops paying for the Ozempic because it is very expensive here in the States. And then the next thing you know, her appetite is back. She learned none of the patterns. She's learned none of the habits, and she gains all of the weight back and then continues going forward. And now she's 310, 320. Now, any fitness content creator or people making videos on Ozempic, they are going to talk about the science behind it. I am going to talk about the psychology. Taking Ozempic when you have been struggling with your weight your entire life is like putting a band-aid on a deep, deep tissue wound. It is not going to solve the long-term issue. If you are a lifetime binge eater or stress eater and have done nothing to actually address those habits, those are going to linger. Those are going to stick around, and when you stop taking the Ozempic and stop paying for it, they're going to come back. I talk a lot about slaying the dragon when you're trying to lose weight. The first thing you need to do, especially if you have a big fitness journey to go on, is slay the dragon. Let's say the biggest reason that I'm overweight is because I'm a bored eater. If I am trying to embark on a large fitness journey, I need to address the bored eating. That's what got me to my heavy weight, and if I don't attack that, I'm never going to actually see the success that I want, especially long term. You have to slay the dragon first, and then you can walk the rest of the path. And that's something that I see other people just completely bypass the big issues. I see it on social media every single day. They want to avoid the uncomfortable conversations. They want to avoid the accountability of what got them there in the first place, and they want the quick fix. I can't blame them. I've been in their shoes. I've been 300 pounds. I know the frustration that comes with it. I want to make this very clear. Am I against Ozempic? Yes. But am I against or attacking the people that take it out of desperation for fat loss? No. I have been in their shoes. I know what it's like to be so desperate and be willing to try anything for the sake of progress because you can't trust yourself to work on the right things because you did nothing but fail every time. That is real. and it sucks. Now there's always going to be jokes about like some action movie actor taking a bunch of Ozempic to look shredded for his next role in his big action movie, or model doing it for a big shoot or whatever. There's always going to be those jokes, and you know, what are you going to do? And Ozempic does have success stories for the people that it's meant for. But as someone who's lost 100 pounds naturally, I cannot endorse it simply from the fact that I know 90% of the people that will be taking it for fat loss aren't going to be able to keep it off because they are not addressing the main issues. And it's an uncomfortable conversation, don't get me wrong. It's not fun and it's not easy, but I will say one thing, it's very simple. Fat loss done right is actually quite boring. I would much rather have a long, boring journey that is permanent than a short, fast journey that I didn't work for that I'm gonna end up gaining back in the future. Now, I also have spoken to people who are using smaller doses of GLP-1s or semaglutides to kickstart a fat loss journey and get the ball rolling and giving them some momentum, and then slowly reducing the dosage back to zero over a longer period of time. Now, could that work? Absolutely. And I'm not going to sit here and call anyone who's taking Ozempic a bad or lazy person. But desperation makes humans do some very strange things. And thinking that some injection is going to solve all of your problems, you have another thing coming. And this is just speaking on the food side of things as well. I haven't even mentioned the fact that it's not going to do anything for you in the gym. So if you have 100 pounds to lose, you lose it, but you haven't been going to the gym consistently, you haven't been strength training at all, you are not going to have this washboard ab chiseled look that you're expecting. You might end up falling into what people like to call skinny fat, where you have some loose skin, you still have some fat on your body, but you have very little muscle mass as well. Now, when I was skinny fat, I'll say I was much happier skinny fat than I was at 300 pounds, point blank period. But I was also very disappointed in the lack of muscle that I had because I wasn't strength training enough. So that is one thing Ozempic will not do. It will not teach you how to go to the gym, how to lift weights, how to build muscle, and how to keep it. There is no medication physically out there that you can take to go from looking like you're 350 pounds to where you're 180 with 5% body fat and you can bench 225, squat 315, and deadlift 405. You're not going to look like a movie star. The only way to do that is through lots and lots of years of actual slow growth. Also, before I go, check out the ramen cutoff. Come on. Ooh. Now, in I think the most fitting fashion possible, I'm going to be leaving you with a quote from the movie Kung Fu Panda. Slow success builds character. Fast success builds ego. So don't pray for it to come quick. Instead, pray for the wisdom to make it stick. That was said by Tai Lung, the villain, by the way, in case you're curious. Absolutely phenomenal film. But with that being said, that is all of my thoughts on Ozempic as somebody who has lost 100 pounds and is a full-time weight loss professional. I coach people for a living, and I talk about Ozempic quite a bit on my other platforms, but I've never made a video on it here. Honestly, that Kung Fu Panda quote sums it up pretty quickly. If you don't deal with the big issues at the beginning, you don't kill the bad habits that got you there, at the end of the day, you're going to end up right back where you started if you're not careful. I have a whole bunch of links in the description. Go check them out. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I've got some cool videos planned here for YouTube. I'm having a lot of fun recording YouTube videos. If you have any questions about Ozempic itself, also drop it in the comments. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I have for you. Don't take Ozempic. Probably not the best idea. Subscribe if you like listening to me yap, and keep it simple, big fella.